Hey everybody, welcome to MixBerlin Recording Studios. My name is Hannes Kelch. I'm a producer, guitarist and songwriter. And today we will be making some profiles. I've been working on a profile pack with my Marshall amplifiers lately, and I just got my /AFD 100 back from repairs, which is a reason to always profile your amps because they might break and then you have backups. Anyway, I just got that back and I unboxed it yesterday, and these are basically the settings I got it with. We will be making 3 profiles, one with the AFD channel, one with the number 34 channel. I'll be talking about those, and then we will be making a very nice clean tone with the JCM 800, which is one of my favorite clean sounds. You will be able to pick those sounds up on the Kemper page, and those 3 profiles and the full pack at our shop, bestkemperprofiles.com. I just checked. I won't be sued by them. I'm very happy about that. Thank you. Anyway, so let's get started making the profiles. I will explain something about my setup. First of all, this is the amp. Then I have a amp switcher, and it goes over to the control room where I have 2 cabinets set up normally. Today we're going to be doing with the Mesa oversized cab with vintage 30s. As far as I know, they're specially voiced for Mesa, so there are different vintage 30s than you'll have in other cabinets. Then I run the microphones, which today are a 57 and a Royer 121, to my Neve preamps and to a summing mixer. And I blend the 2 mics together depending on how I like the level. If I want a little bit more clean tone, then I'll use the Royer more, and otherwise for rhythm tones I will dial the Royer back quite far. I also have both mics attached to 2 Dynamounts. For everybody that doesn't know the Dynamount, it's a motorized robot unit basically that is presettable, and it has a software, and you can move the mics back by very small increments to really dial in the perfect tone. And it's changed guitar tones almost as much as the Kemper has. At least in the studio. So let's have a listen to the 57. This is the 57 in a position I like. Generally what I do when positioning a 57 is that I kind of listen to how it sounds in the middle of the cone. So it can kind of be nice too sometimes. Good position also for 421s. If you want to use a 421, I think that's a very good position. And then I'll just move it out until it loses this like total hiss. So that's kind of what it's doing. Getting closer. Here you go, see? This is a little bit more hiss, and then it loses that. Now if you move it all the way out, just so we can have a listen to that. That's how the 57 sounds all the way out. And that's a little further in. Yeah. Yeah, and I try to kind of find the midway between the sound and all the way out. And this is a position I like. The good thing about the Dynamount is also you can make presets. So I tend to make presets when I'm running sessions saying this is where I have my 57 positioned, this is where I have my Royer positioned. Now, for this tone, let's also have a listen to the Royer. Now at the moment, let's have a listen to what it sounds like in the middle. It's a good sounding mic too. It sounds good on its own. What I like to do with the Royer for clean tones, I like to move it more to the middle and like to use more of the Royer. But if I'm trying to do heavy tones, I move it further out because I have the feeling that the mic doesn't get pushed so hard on the outside of the cone, and I also angle the mic towards the cone quite a bit so it doesn't get hit so hard by the amp. Now the good thing about this amplifier is that it has a built-in power soak. I've tried quite some power soaks, and I've just noticed that they do lose a lot of top end. So I like to just dial back my amps with level, especially when you're using a raw. You don't always want to have that mic in front of the amp, then you can turn them up more. But yeah, for today we're doing that. And the good thing about the Slash amp is this power soak sounds phenomenal. I would encourage every amp builder to put in something like that. I don't know why this is not a feature. I would much rather actually have a power soak on the amp than a presence knob. Anyway, so yeah, this is where I do like the Royer for the amp. So this is outside. You would think that the Royer would lose more top end towards the outside. It's a very soft sounding mic, but for some reason on the outside it doesn't do what the 57 does as much, that it loses the top end, and I just feel it's very balanced. So for rock rhythm sounds, I'm just going to say 90% of the cases I actually only run a 57. But of course it can also be very nice adding the Royer in. So I will always try and get the tone right with the 57, and this is how I like it. And then I'll blend in the Royer, so we'll see. Take it back again. It's very subtle, actually. Now, what I also would encourage everybody to do when you're doing multi-mic setups is to level both mics the same level, about, and then just check the phase. So you can flip the phase, see, and then you hear that there's almost full cancellation, not full cancellation, two different mics, so not full cancellation. But yeah, you get very close. Yes, so this is the mic setup, and I would just like to turn some knobs on the amp. I don't want to turn any knobs on the amp. I mean, this is how the amp actually came out of the repair shop. I don't think I just touched the power soak and maybe the gain a bit, but the rest was just random settings, and I think we can do a profile with this now. Okay, so what we will always want to do when it's a distorted profile is refine the sound. So that's what I always do, I think, and I'll just play some chords, just slam the guitar, nothing beautiful. Generally when I play, it's never beautiful. Yeah, I love this amp. We'll go back and forth between the Kemper, and now we have a noise gate in this amp, which is very good using P90s. This is the Kemper amp. Such a huge difference between those two. Oh my god, I can't even hear it. Actually, I think the profile sounds better. I don't know if it's tube shaped. it just sounds. Keep this. Generally I leave these settings the way they are, and yeah, I'm very happy with this amp and also with this profile. We will also be doing a playthrough with the real amp setting and the Kemper amp profile, so you can go back and forth between those two in the track, not just here. Now I'm going to play some higher stuff. Actually, I prefer the profile sounds better. This is what this profile is made for, so I'm not going to fool around with any volume pot stuff. Let me just store this. When I do multi-mic profiles, I generally tend to also just do the 57 profile, just to have that, because you might want to use that one too. So I'm going to make a profile of that too. So we're just going to repeat this process. Cool. Let me just refine this profile. That's very good. Reference amp. Kemper amp. Love this sound. Now, let's do a profile with the channel 34 on this amp. Now that's a little bit more mid-focused sound, doesn't have this bottom end that the AFD channel has, just to have the full amplifier. Also, of course, in the profile pack that will be in our shop, bestkemperprofiles.com, we'll have different gain stages. But of course, with this profile, I think everybody's going to be very happy. Yeah, so I'm going to flick the switch and also blend the 57 in again, the Royer in again. Actually, let me add a little bit more of the Royer. It's very tight. I'm going to leave the settings exactly as they are. I think it's just nice having the amp with these settings. Generally, just because I'm thinking of this, generally one mistake I used to make, and my studio colleague reminded me of this, is set the amps at 12 o'clock and just have a listen to them. That's kind of how amps are made to be, and then just kind of make the changes from there. And I think that's a very good rule, or note to self, is just kind of to make the changes. Of course, the gain knob and the master are different things, but also still the EQs and everything. I think it's very nice to set the amps at 12 o'clock, and Marshall amps sound great at 12 o'clock. Yeah, so let's just make a profile of this. Okay, let me just refine this profile. Cool. Of course, this doesn't have the low-end bump that the other, not bump, the other one just sounds different, but it's a little tighter. It might be good for guitars that tend to be a little bit low-end focused, or also just nice for octave leads. So if you're just like adding tracks to a song and you want to do like... you might not want to have the full range that the other sound has if you want to use only these two sounds. Cool, let's do an A-B. Kemper amp. Reference amp. And Kemper amp again. Yeah. One thing about the profiler that I've just noticed, because I was really waiting for the editor to come out, and then the editor came out, and I just noticed that I've gotten so quick with this interface that I'm actually quicker using the unit, just because I know where everything is, I know how to click through the browser, and so I'm just very impressed. I hope this doesn't change in the next 10 years, because I just can do it with closing my eyes. One other thing that I wanted to note is that the separation between the control room and the recording room is nearly 100% here. I know that, or I noticed from when we used to have our old studios, that we had more bleed, and the sounds we made in those studios were just not as good, because the low end bump you get through just very heavily biases your ears. And I just figured that the full separation, and that was something I really wanted in the studio, and my colleague did a phenomenal job planning this, is especially in the low end also, is so good that you can really focus on the sound. Another thing that I've noticed is that amps do sound better in bigger rooms. We have close to 30 square meters, and also the height, of course, is important. I think it's like 3 meters 80 or something over there. So you have a big volume room, and the thing is, for nowadays, big studio. 20 years ago, very small studio here, now huge. Is that the sound comes back from the wall. So even with the 57, I have the feeling when you turn up the amp, it's just, if you're in a booth, it just pushes the mic constantly, and I feel it's much nicer when the microphone doesn't get all this pressure rebound from the wall. So if it's in a bigger room. And also what I did is I actually decoupled the cabinets from the floor. Those are all just small things that I feel make it better. Yeah, and also not hitting the cone too hard. Not hitting the roar too hard, not hitting the cone too hard, to really just have the amp have full control of the sound. Yeah, separation is a very important thing, and guitar tones get much better when you don't hear the cab blasting through the walls. Yeah, so these are now I actually made 3 profiles. Also with the 57, you will get that sound too. Now let's make a profile with the JCM 800. Again, I will switch down to the JCM 800. Okay, so let's have a listen to the JCM 800. The SM57 actually is positioned just like with the AFD. Generally, I do end up finding kind of similar positions. Some amps need a little bit, need the 57 a little bit more in, and also depending on the genre, of course, it depends on where you want to put the 57. The settings on the amp, I'm going to turn, we're going to hear the 57 only now, are, yeah, basically very 12 o'clock-ish, except that I rolled off the mids a bit because the 800 tends to have a little bit more of those. And it's the low input for the clean tone, master pretty far up because it's a very, very quiet channel, and also the pre-gain on like 11 o'clock. So if I was recording only the 57, I would move the mic out a bit further. So I would kind of try to do something like this, but of course, because we do have the Royer, we'll move it back in. Let me actually move this in a bit more. Cool. And now let's have a listen to the 57. Sorry, now let's have a listen to the Royer. See, and for this sound now it's a bit dull out there, so let's move it quite a bit in. What's this? Much nicer. Blend the two together. I'll go a little bit more Royer heavy on this. This is what I like the 800 a lot for, is this is what I like the 800 a lot for, is picking sounds like this. So it's just a very beautiful guitar tone. If you have like a picked verse, drums, and a picked guitar verse, this is what I do all the time. So we will make a profile of that, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot too. Sounds good in all positions. Great, let's profile this. Actually, a clean profile was detected by the Kemper amp just now, so it's a clean, completely clean sound. Sometimes if it has a little bit more breakup, then it tends to, then it tells you, okay, it's a distorted profile. So I just always profile distorted profiles. Cool. So this is the reference amp. Kemper amp. Reference amp. Kemper amp. Great. Yeah, this is I really like this clean tone, and I think we made quite some nice profiles today. Just one short note about this guitar. Now, this is a guitar that has been built for me, I think 6 years ago, by Alex Guitars. He also works for Slash. He does a lot of setups for Slash when he's in Europe, and actually Slash takes his guitars on tour in Europe and has him set them up then here, and has worked with all the big names, also Metallica and everybody. And he made this guitar for me, and what's good about this guitar, talking about the profiler, is that it's very in between a Gibson and a Fender guitar. So the profiles I make with this guitar tend to also work very well with a Les Paul or with a Telecaster with just a single call bridge. These are P90s. There's something about this volume pot that's just phenomenal. There's, I don't even know what he did. I actually don't even know what kind of wood this is. And this body was finished, and actually you can see that the bridge pickup is cut in here already. So it just, yeah, it was built, and I love it so much. With the profile pack I'm making now, I am also making guitar tones with a Les Paul, with a humbucker bridge, and then also with a bridge pickup or neck pickup for a Telecaster, because I feel, especially with mid-gain sounds, that I do different settings on the amp, and that's one of the mistakes I've made in the past, is when I go through profile banks, I used to not look what kind of guitar those tones were made with, and now I'm also writing what guitar I made the tones with, because I think that's crucial for when you're looking for a tone, because a tone that was made on a Les Paul generally is made to sound with a Les Paul, and with the Tele, if it's a very special tone, it just will sound very weird. And also, of course, sometimes it might work. Yeah, but this guitar, and it just can go from very heavy to very soft, so it can do all kinds of different things. So just as you were hearing just now, it does the heavy stuff, and then of course also can do the clean. Also the bridge, yeah, I don't know, there's just something about this guitar that I love very much. Actually, one thing too, over the last 2 years, I almost didn't use this guitar because I've used it so much, so I kind of tried making different tones with other guitars, and that was a lot of fun. But now I'm playing this, I've been playing this for like 2 months again, and it was a very good lesson learned to work with other guitars, because you make different guitar tones. But now I think for the next year I'll be working with this again. So let me check what kind of tones we did now, and that's the great thing, of course, that we just have total recall here. This is the clean tone. Let me add some amp compression to this, actually. It's going to sound very nice. The compressor in the amp. Very dry, no reverb, great. Okay, so now we have the AFD 34. It's very nice. It's not as hairy as the 800, but it still has this tightness. Very good. Then we have the AFD Heavy 57. And then we have the AFD with the 57 and the Royer. Now this is, for me actually, this is a very good basic tone to work on if I'm setting up a live show, for example. I would use this tone and I could go everywhere from like rolling down the or turning down the gain on the amp. Yeah, this is just a very good basic profile, and then you can go all the way heavy. So all just with a turn of the gain. Yeah, these are the 4 tones you will get. They will also be in the, I'll call it $1 Million Herschel pack or whatever. It's going to be on our bestkemperprofiles.com page. And yeah, I hope you enjoy them just as much as I will. I hope you will also enjoy the track that you will be hearing now, and let us know what you think about the track, about the profiles, and have a good day.